All right. So we are going to do let's do let's do takeover. Let's do that. All right. So we're gonna come over here. So this is a room called takeover, and it's revolving around subdomain enumeration. So let's join it. Let's see. Hopefully, it doesn't take a. Hello there. It says, "Hello there. I am the CEO and one of the co-founders of FutureVera.thm. At FutureVera, we believe that the future is in space. We do a lot of space research and write blogs about it. We used to help students with space questions, but we are rebuilding our support. Recently, Black Hat hackers approached us saying they could take over and are asking us for a big ransom. Please help us to define what they can take over. Our website is located at https://futurevera.thm. Don't forget to add the machine IP in the Etsy host. Okay, so obviously you can't go there yet. So let's go ahead and start the machine. And now it's asking for the value of the flag. All right, so obviously, so it looks like they're saying they have a website. There is a vulnerability in the website. Some malicious actors have reached out to the CEO and told them that they could take over the website. And they have reached out to us to see where the weakness is. So what we're going to need to focus on, obviously, if they're saying it's focusing on subdomains, there is obviously going to be some subdomain brute forcing. So we're probably going to use tools like Derb or Durbuster, GoBuster, or FFUF or FUF. Um, let's think about this for a second. So when you talk about subdomains, um, remember we talked about, and actually I remember. Let me just say it like it's from the beginning. So with websites or web applications, there is something known as DNS or the domain name system. So the domain name system, I want you to think of that like a phone book. Okay, so when you go to something like a google.com or a tryhackme.com or alpha esports and technology.com or whatever the case may be, there is a uh, set of numbers or IP address that's associated to it. So it's just like when you get someone's phone number for the very first time. You have to add that to your phone or add that to your mobile device with their name and their phone number. It's the same thing with DNS. When you add it, you're going to add the name, the website name to that IP address. And from now, anytime you go to that website address, it will look in its Rolodex or phone book or whatever you want to call it, um, for the corresponding IP address to it. So this way you don't have to remember, 172.16. Whatever. You can just remember the whatever the website is. Okay, so a subdomain is a domain that's a part of another domain, right? So for example, let's say you go to alphaesportstech.com, but let's say we have a store. So the subdomain would be store.alphaesportstech.com, right? So basically what's happening is you have subdomain, you have sublayers, right? So you have, whether it's the store or you have emails or whatever the case may be, the main part of your domain is that let's say website.com, and see, I is thinking I'm doing hand gestures with the AI thing here, but it's whatever domain, whatever it is.com, and then the subdomain is what goes behind it. And if you look at it, it actually is backwards. So instead of doing like alphaesportstech.com/store, that is that's not a subdomain. The subdomain would be store.alphaesportstech.com. Okay. So when you do subdomain enumeration, what you're going to do is you're going to try to figure out um, all of the subdomains for that domain. So in this situation, the domain that they're going to give us is futurevera at futurevera.thm.com. So we're going to try to do some type of enumeration to figure out what the subdomains for futurevera is. Okay. Um, let's see. It says the website. Okay, so John Hammond had a hand in this. Okay, so it's gonna be a. I anticipate it's gonna. It says it's an easy one, but we'll see. All right, so we have our IP address of 10.10.246. That's our. Okay, so let's go ahead and start our attack box. And if at any point my big head is in the way, actually, let's just do this. Boop. So now I am no longer in the way, but you can hear the sound of my voice. So if you look here, it said to make sure we add uh 10.10.246 in the Etsy host of Future Vera. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to go to our host folder in our attack machine and add that information. So remember, I said it's like storing a phone number. You'll see what I'm talking about. Are we getting back into the hack? You know what? We are gonna get back into some of it. Like I said, lately I've been getting that urge, that itch again. Like if you guys been following me, I say um, every once in a while I'll get this itch, and it needs to be scratched, and that's the hacker side of me. It's like it. Let me come back here while we're waiting for it to load. Yeah, every once in a while I get the urge. So I've been doing some practice stuff for work. I've also been I've been taking a couple trainings here and there, just to kind of stay sharp. Even though I'm not in cybersecurity full time anymore, it's one of those things where it's like if you uh, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. Um, and I don't ever want to lose all of my skills. So, I've been telling people recently, you know, I'm I may not be, you know, fully involved in the day to day operations in cybersecurity like I used to, but that doesn't mean I stopped being a hacker. I will always I will always be a hacker. I will always be a hacker at heart. I will always have a love for the game, I guess, a love for the challenge. I'm just doing something different, and I guess even though I'm not in the day to day, again, teaching people how to get into it, teaching people the skill sets and stuff like that. I'm just doing it differently, right? I'm doing my own thing, so to speak. All right, so we do have our attack machine finally back up. So what we're going to do here is we are going to move this so you can see, and we are going to cd into our Etsy folder, and we are going to cat our hosts. So here you can see, you'll see a couple IP addresses, 127.0.0.1, that's a local host, and all of that. So what we need to do is we're going to go nano host, And now we have this information here. And now we need to do 10.10.240.6. And we'll just kind of keep it neat here. And it is future VERA dot THM. Okay, and now we can hit Control X. Do we want to save it? Yes, and we're going to save it to there. So now, if we cat the host file again, you'll see it's right there. I do want to just move this down a little bit just to give a little bit of space because I don't like it being all crowded. Yes, and we'll write it to host, and then we'll cat it again, and there's our space. Fantastic. All right, so now let's go ahead and back out of there. We now have our main terminal, and now we're going to bring up a web browser. I'm going to get my big head out of the way while we wait for the web browser to load up. And now let's go ahead and go to https / future vera.thm, not thy, thm. It's a little slow. All right, so now you'll see security, risk ahead, whatever. We'll hit advanced. Scroll down here. We're going to go ahead and accept the risk. And now let's take a look at the website. So you see here, it's Future Vera. We will change future. Okay. Space is the future. Mankind survival. Okay. Again, it's just a little slow. Here, let's make this a little bit bigger by moving this so we can see more. We can see more screen. So, all right. So it looks like it's just a one pager. Or let's see if we click learn more. Yeah, it's just a one pager. There aren't too many links on here. So I don't see, come over here. Yep. All right. So it's just a one pager, meaning this is the website. This is it right here. Okay. This is all we can see. Let's go ahead and let's inspect element. No. Okay. Let's do this. Let's go view page source. All right. So let's look at the page source. Major goals, educate masses about space, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so again, nothing too crazy standing out right now. Like I said, we do know that with the minimize this. So we do know with the information we got that there must be something wrong with one of the subdomains. So even though we have just a one pager, clearly, hey, what's going on, Ty? So even though we know there's it's a one pager. That's just from what we see. We don't know what's happening on the back end. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a tool called, you know what, let's just go ahead and use FUF, right? So FUF is so there's a few subdomain here. Let me get back on screen here. So when dealing with subdomain enumeration, like I said before, there are a few tools, right? There's Derb or Derb Buster. Derb and Derb Buster is an older one. It's, I guess, not as fast as the other ones now. Go Buster is basically Derb Buster, but it's written in the Go language or Golang. And then you have FUF. FUF is another one for web route, like web enumeration. You also can use it for fuzzing, like APIs and things like that. And hey, what's going on, Mary? How you doing? Um, I felt I felt not Ty. We're gonna use FUF instead of GoBuster. Um, yeah, I'm just killing some time until I head out. My daughter is performing with her very first performance with the Clark Atlanta Mighty Marching Panthers. She's performing at the MLB All Star Game, so I get to break out here a little bit early and go be a proud dad and I'm actually not gonna go down there. I'm gonna probably be watching it and recording it because I got to go back down there and pick her up. I dropped her off like super early this morning. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and use FF, and we are going to use we're gonna probably use the web content folder from Secklist. So let's see if I can remember because I can't I don't remember last time I no I it's been a while since I've used uh FF. So first, let's see if we have everything we need. Where can I find? Let's see. Come on, CD into tools, recon word list. So let's go into word list. And there is our seclist folder. All right, cool. So we do have seclist. You see we have derb and we have derb buster. So let's see if we have FF. And we do have FF because it's telling us how to do it properly. So we're going to stay in here since we have our word list. Actually, let's CD into seclist now. So this way we don't have to worry about it later. All right. So we are going to do, let's see if I remember how to do this. FF, right? And then we need to tell it to look at the word list. So we're going to do -W for word list. We are in the seclist folder. So let's go ahead and discovery, web content. And let's try common.txt. Okay, and then I want to say it's -H. Yep, I think it's -H. You know what? I don't remember. Let's just do this before FF-H. Let's see if it gives us the how to run it. Okay, so yep. So -H is the header name value. -X is the method version information. Recursion. The target URL. Okay, so we want to do -W, right? We want -W for word lists. We want to do -H for the header. And we want to do -U for the target URL. All right, so let's try that. Clear. All right, so we're gonna say FFUF-W. We are in here, so we don't have to worry about going there. Web content, common.txt, and then we're gonna say -H, capital H, and then I want to say it's host. Uh, and then we want to fuzz for subdomains. I'm on TryHackMe. I'm doing the TryHackMe room takeover, Ty. So here, I will put it in the chat. Oh, and this whole time I'm sitting, y'all gotta let me know, man. Y'all just looking at my face. I'm in here thinking, Mary, you still here? What you been up to? Y'all got me in here, got my face in the camera. I'm sitting there thinking I'm doing something. All right. So what we're doing is we said F All right. So here, let's go back real quick and just show and recap what I did since my face was in the camera this whole time. All right. So I did dash H because I wanted to get the help page. And then from there, we determined, let me get my face out the camera. We determined that we want to use these flags. So we want to use the header. So it's going to say name and then the value that's separated by a colon. Multiple H flags are accepted. So we're going to use dash H, and then we're going to use dash U for the target URL. And then we're using dash W for the word list file. Okay. So we did that. Then I said clear. And now we're back on my face real quick, just so I can look at something over here to make sure that I didn't do anything wrong. All right, cool. So we're back. Now I move back over here and I get my big head out the way. All right, now we're back. We're solid again. So we're gonna go ff-w, and we said since we're already in the seclist directory, we're gonna hit discovery web content, and we're gonna do common.txt, and we're gonna do dash H for the host, and we're going to say host is, and now since we want to fuzz for subdomains, with ff you type in the word fuzz. Let me get my face on camera. You type in the word fuzz for the area that you want to fuzz. You know what I'm saying? So hold on. Hold, please. I just saw something. Oh, good. Yeah. Stop, Boost. Stop trying to put your spam messages in my chat. All right. All right. No. What? No, that's wrong. That's not what I want you to do. I want you to look over here. Okay. So we are going to type in the word fuzz to tell ff where to fuzz. So we want to do subdomain enumeration. So remember, we said subdomain is actually behind the domain. So we're going to say fuzz dot futurevera.thm, right? And we want to close the parentheses. And then the U for URL is https://10.10.240.6. Okay. So now what should happen is it should scan, fuzz.futurevera.com. So now what should happen is it's going to scan the URL of 10.10.240.6, which resolves in the DNS to futurevera.thm. but it's going to fuzz for any subdomains, and it's going to use a common word list in the web content directory of Daniel Meisler's sec list. So if I hit enter and it runs, then that means we're good. And as you can see, it moves a lot faster than, well, it moves really fast, and it moves a lot faster than uh, other word lists or sub domain enumerators. So it says progress, job done. Okay, so it says there were no errors, which is not right. Okay, and everything came back with the same size, 4605. So that same thing, 4605, same words, 1511, same lines, 92. So I will put my face back in the screen so you can see that I am looking a little perplexed. So now what we need to do is we actually need to tell it to, we need to filter this out, because as you can see, it came back with all the same information. And the web content folder does, it did scan up really fast, and there's only but so much it can show on the screen at one time, and we can't scroll back up. So because of that, we may have missed something different. We may have missed something that stands out. So what we're going to do is we are going to filter that. So we're going to go back to ff -h to get help, because we need to figure out what we need to filter. And immediately you'll see filter options. And I'm going to move my big head out the screen now. So if you look at the filter options, you have FC, which is by status code, right? You have FL, which is the amount of lines in the response. You have FR, which is regex expressions. FS, which is HTTP response size, and then FW, and this is by the amount of words. So what I'm thinking is we're gonna want to use FS by the response size, since we noticed that everything has the same response size of 4605. So what we want to do is we want to tell it to filter out anything that is 4605. Okay. And then if you look down here, there are some extra options. Let's make it stand out. So we're going to use the -C flag to colorize the output. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we are going to go back here. So if you see, I just tapped up twice because I wanted to go back to our original command. And now what we're going to do is we are going to tell it, on top of, we want it to run everything again, but now we want to do -FS because we want to filter out the size of 4605. We don't want to see anything that has 4605, and we want to colorize. We want to color the output. Okay. So again, we're going to check everything here. So -FS to filter the HTTP response file size, the size of the response. And then we are going to do -C to colorize the output. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and hit enter. And now you'll see we have very few responses this time, because we filtered out anything with the same file size of 4605. So again, what we told it was, we don't want to see 4605. We don't care about 4605. And we want you to color the output. So 200, usually when you see a status of 200, that's good. 200 is good. 200 is okay. Okay, so anytime you see 200, you know that something went through successfully in that 200 range. Okay. So we now have uh, four subdomains, but it's actually two because it's just it's duplicated because of one is in capital and one is lowercase. So we have blog and we have support. So let's go back to our browser. Right? Let's go back to our browser. And now we went back to futurevera.thm. And remember, we saw that it was just a static page. But now let's check out blog.futurevera.thm. And then let's check out support. And I think I know why. Because it's not going to show up because we didn't add it in our phone book. Remember, we talked about DNS. So let's go back and let's go back to here. And let's open up another terminal real quick. And we will back out and then we will cd into our Etsy folder. And then let's nano our host file again. Okay. And now we need to do the same thing that we did before. 10.240.6. And now we need to go over here and we need to tell it blog.futurevera.com. And then the same thing, 10.240.6. And we need to do support.futurevera. Oh, THM, not .com. THM. Okay. And now we're going to save our buffer and save it to our host file. And again, just to double check, we will cat our host file. And now you'll see futurevera.thm, blog.futurevera.thm, and then support.futurevera.thm. All right, so now when we go back to our web page here, if we refresh, you'll see again we get the same message from before, and now we're going to go ahead and accept and continue. And then what about blog.futurevera.com? Nope, .thm. And so now you can see we have everything here. So actually, when you did blog.futurevera, it looks like it redirected back to the original FutureVera site. Let's just confirm that again. Okay, so now we hit advanced, continue, and there's our blog. Okay, so now we have, let's just bring them all up. Let's just bring them all up. So this is our home page, futurevera.thm, right? And then we have our blog, right? We have the home page, we have an about page, and then we have some posts. Okay, so now we can go back, and then our support page, let's see. We're working hard to finish the redevelopment of our support website. All right, so we have the support page, doesn't look like much. Let's go ahead and view the page source. Okay, not much. FutureVera vlog, let's view the page source. Okay. All right. So we do have our subdomains. All right. So now when we're looking at this, let me go back to something here because I feel like theme is taken, core theme, assets, autoplay, style sheet. Hmm. 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 Mm-mm-mm-mm. Okay. Verified by Future Vera. So basically, what we're doing here is I want to review the information, right? So when we were looking, we didn't see much in the source, right? We didn't see anything here, right? Didn't see too much. So I mean, the website's pretty cut and dry, right? Same thing here. We didn't see much here. I don't see there isn't like a login page or anything, right? If you view the page source, same thing. You don't really see anything. So what you start looking at from there is you want to start looking at other information, right? So when we added it, we checked, we said um, we accepted the fact that it was unsecure. So now I just want to kind of look to see what exactly um, did we accept, right? So the connection is not secure, and then we went into the more information. So now we're just looking, right? Again, this is just looking for anything that may stand out. Okay, so there's a technical details, the connections. Okay, all right. So we saw. So again, right? And we're just kind of all over right now. I know we're kind of all over the place, but let's just do the same thing here. More information. Okay, so that all looks fine. So let's go ahead and view the certificate. Okay, so oops, I done hit the microphone. Let me know if y'all can if y'all are following. Okay, so again, now we're viewing the encryption, the certificate. Okay, so hold on, what's this say? This extension has been marked as critical, meaning that clients must reject the certificate if they don't understand it. Okay, all right, so Again, I don't see anything that stands out there. Let's look at the certificate for you for support. So now if we view the certificate here, support, okay, that's a common name, that's a common name. Common name, validity. Common name, validity. Subject, alternative names. Secret help desk, that's different. And that's not here. So if you just comparing, and just to be on the safe side, let's go ahead and check the certificate here for you as well. Encryption. Yep. Okay. So do y'all see? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? All right. Do y'all see? Did y'all see what I saw? So we're gonna look at futurevera.thm. So that's this one right here. So we're reviewing the certificates there for their encryption. Okay. So here. Hey, listen. So we're here. We're just looking through it. You see, it kind of looks. If you've seen certificates before, it's kind of cut and dry. It's got our information here. It's got some encryption information. Nothing crazy. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and look at the blog site. So that's this one here. Now we're looking at the certificate for that one. Okay. We're scrolling through. Again, looks very similar to this one. Like I said, you'll see that some of the encryption is different, which it's supposed to. So again, nothing really standing out. However, if you look at the support page, which is this one here, and I'm just going to do it again so y'all see what I'm talking about. All right, so if you look here, compared to these two, let's go here, issuer name and then validity. Same thing, issuer name and then validity. All right, so now let's move here. Subject name, fine. Issuer name, validity. Okay, that's all fine, but look at this alt name, the alternative name. Look at this DNS name. Okay. That is not the same as the rest of them. As a matter of fact, it's not anywhere. There's nothing about an alternative name on the blog or the main domain. It's this one right here. Hey, listen. So this looks like it's another DNS name. It looks like it's another address. So that means it's another thing we need to add to our handy dandy phone book. So let's close. Let's go here. Let's go here. All right. So let's open up our terminal, and we're going to go into CD Etsy, and we're going to go nano hosts, and we're back here. Let's give it some space. Okay, same thing. 10.10.240.6. And now we're going to go ahead and right click and hit paste. And now we have our secret help desk 934-752.support.futurevera.thm. Let's just use that one again. And we're going to modify our buffer, and we're going to save the file. And now when we cat our host file, you'll see we have that information, so we're good. So now that we have that, let's go back to our web browser. And let's open up another browser. So now we got a bunch of different tabs. Now we're going to go ahead and hit paste. So that's our secret help desk there. And it says we're having trouble finding the site. But look at the message. Look, it gave us our flag right here. We can't connect to the server at flag, and then it gave us the flag code. Okay, so we basically completed this room. All right, so you'll see here we have here. We'll go ahead and copy, and now we'll go over here and enter our flag, and we have completed the room. So that is subdomain enumeration in a nutshell. It was, again, we just to kind of give a quick recap of what we did. Let's come back and have my big head on the screen. Let's bring back our excuse me. All right. So, just to kind of give a quick recap of everything that we did, we got a letter from the CEO and co-founder of FutureVera.thm. They said that they were approached by some malicious attackers who said that they could take over, and they were looking for the ransom. Okay, so they gave us the information, which was FutureVera.thm. Okay, however, when you went to the FutureVera page, it was just this static page. Okay, so one pager. So there wasn't anything special about it. If you clicked any links, if you look, it actually just redirected to the same page. Okay, just scroll down for you. Okay, so that link was just a command to scroll. So we checked the source code. Okay, there was nothing in the source code that really gave away anything. Okay, so you see, it just said that basically everything that you saw on the page about space and exploring space. And then from there, we went and tried to do some subdomain enumeration. So we used a tool called FF. And Ty, if you're still here, I can probably just show you the difference in speed and results if we were to use. No, let's not do that because I don't want it to take away from it. So we use a tool called FF, or Fuzz Faster, You Fool. And we used Daniel Meisler's SecList word list. And what we did was we wanted to enumerate for any subdomains. However, when we did the subdomains, everything came back with the status 200, which normally 200 Status codes means good. But as application security advances, um, it's becoming more common to just give a status 200 for anything and everything. Reason being is because those status codes can be hints. Okay. So in the past, um, yeah, you could use W fuzz too. So in the past, if you saw a status 200, like I said, 200 codes meant good. Okay. So 200, 201, 202, right? That meant that something succeeded. If you saw if you saw something in the 200 range, you knew you were good. If you saw something in the 300 range, you knew that there was a redirect, right? So that means the page used to be there and it moved. It may have moved. It may be a 301 that moved to a new URL. It may be a 302 that said it was found and it was temporarily moved to a different URL. 304, which I think is something it wasn't modified or something, whatever. But 300s usually mean there was some type of redirect. 400s is usually an error. Same thing with 500s. Difference with 400 and 500s is 400s are client errors, 500s are server errors. So think of 400s as it's a problem with me. 500 errors is server, which means it's a problem with them. Okay. So 400s means I may have done something wrong. 500s means that there's something wrong on their end. Okay. So if you get a 400, that might be in a bad request, which means you might have put in something wrong. Instead of a dot, you may have did a comma, whatever, right? 401 means you're not authorized. It means you don't have permission. Okay. 403 means you're forbidden from accessing that. 404 means the resource could not be found. Okay. 500 is an internal server error, right? So that means that there's something that happened unexpectedly on the server side when trying to process your request. And because of that, it's not working. 503 means that it's unavailable, right? Something might be down, something might be broken. It's not there, okay? And then 504 means there's some type of denial, not denial of service, but there's some type of timeout, right? There's a timeout. So because of that, pen testers and malicious attackers alike started paying super close attention to these status codes because they essentially gave us information. It would give us information, right? If we're messing with something, we're fuzzing something, and it was a 400, and then we tweaked it. Now it did a 300. Okay, we know. Boom. All right, so that means it was bad, but now we found something that's redirecting. So where is it redirecting to? And then 200 was the okay, cool. We're on the right track. We got it. Same thing with attackers. So now as we started moving into more advanced application security, we started giving instructions, which is actually very smart to do. As a consultant myself, I tell people that have applications, just give 200s for everything. Whether you win, lose, or draw, whether it pass, fail, whether it's a redirect, whether it's a status unavailable, just give it a 200. Why? We don't want to give anyone any information that they can use to weaponize against you. Okay? So everything is a 200. So what you're seeing here is everything was a 200 and everything was coming back with the same status, right? Now, with that being said, just because everything has a 200 doesn't mean that there aren't ways to determine what's different amongst them. So what we did next was we said, okay, since everything is 200 and everything came back with a 4605, clearly this is common. This is the common thing. 4605 size, words 1511, 92 lines. Clearly this is common. So that tells me from a fuzzing standpoint that instead of 200s, these are probably 400s. These are probably in the 400 range. Okay, so they might be 400s as a bad request. They may be 404s as in they don't exist, they're not found, they can't be found on the server. We don't know, right? But whatever it is, these are all the same because you're getting the same lines, same words, same size, right? So let's filter that out. Let's filter it out starting with 4605. Now we could have filtered more in depth and said filter out all of this. Anything that has a size of 4605 that has 1511 words or 92 lines, let's get rid of that. I don't want to see any of that. But we just started with this. Now, if we would have came back with more, like if we would have ran this and more stuff would have came back, we probably would have been more granular and said, all right, get rid of we filter all of this out. Okay? Just giving you uh, insight into how I would have looked at it if that would have happened. Okay. So we ran our next command, which is the same thing we ran before. Go into the web content of the seclist discovery directory. Fuzz for subdomains. Okay. This was our IP address that we were given, and now we want to filter out the size of 4605, and we want to colorize the output to make sure it stands out when we see something different. And lo and behold, we started getting some feedback. If you look, status 200, size 3838. It is not okay. So the machine expired, whatever. But 3838 and 1522, 1326, 367, 81 lines, 34 lines. So you can see there's differences there. Okay. So we did that, and then we got the blog and the support subdomains. So now when we go back over here, it brought up the blog, which we checked the source code and didn't see anything there, and then support. Again, single pagers. Well, actually, the blog had an about page and a blog post page, right? And just for the sake of being thorough, we can view the page source and see that there isn't really anything on the page source on the blog page either, on the blog post. Or let's check the about us and see what you're usually looking for in here is you're looking at source codes. You're looking to see if there's any comments or anything any other information that we can use. So you can see we didn't see any of that. Okay. Same thing with the support page. We checked we checked the source code of the support page. Didn't see anything there. So once you start looking through that information, now you want to start looking through other resources, right? So you want to start looking at what can I learn about this application, or what can I learn about this website. So now we start looking at the certificates. We start looking at the DNS and start looking into that information. And then when we did that, we started looking at the certificates of all of them and trying to compare and contrast. So as you see here, Future Vera was pretty cut and dry. Same thing with blog.futurevera. And then we hit our the support. And when you see the support, it gave us another DNS of secret help desk 934752, which is different from anything we've seen on the other two certificates. So because of that, we went back to our host file and added this information into there so that it would resolve to 10.10.240.6. And then when we browse to it, you'll see it gave us a error message of finding trouble to find a site, which this would probably be some type of 400 code or whatever if you would look at the status code. But if you actually look, it actually gave us our flag. And that is how we found the flag for takeover. So I promised y'all we would do something productive in our um on our stream today. We did do that. We updated everything that's been going on here at the center. We got to shout out Boss Limelight, and we got to shout out the good brother Hezi or Hezekiah. Um, again, he will be representing Alpha East. Well, he's representing himself first and foremost. Not going to take away from that young brother's achievements. He will be representing North America and representing himself, but he will be doing so as a part of the Alpha Esports and Technology Wolfpack family.